He is a football player turned author, and he has written a new book about knowing when it's time to say goodbye to something that you love. Tommy Doles wrote Gridiron Redemption to talk about getting closure and moving on to the next adventure. Tommy is here now with us all the way from Tennessee. Great to see you. If you recognize the last name, we should acknowledge that Jack Doles is your dad. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back to West Michigan. West Michigan, of course, followed your football career first in high school, and you led your team to state. In your book, you talked about how when you were a freshman and first walked into that locker room, you couldn't imagine the success that you ended up having.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, coming to Grand Rapids Christian, it's the biggest stage you've ever played on. As a young football player, you look forward to playing varsity in high school, and that's, you know, about as far as your imagination can go at that point. So, I was just focused on that and being the best I could be in high school, but didn't really look too much past that.
Yeah, well, you did end up on an even bigger stage because at Northwestern University, that certainly was a great stage. And in the book, you talk about how that was such a family and such an important time for you.
Absolutely. I loved my time at Northwestern. Pat Fitzgerald, head coach there, he really set the culture of a family setting. And so I was fortunate to be there, made some of the best friends I've ever had, met my wife Bethany when we were in Chicago. So thankful for my time at Northwestern.
And you had your sights set on, after that, to the NFL, and didn't pan out exactly as you expected or exactly how you hoped.
That's right. So I pursued a professional football career, but I was one of those guys who went undrafted. I was at the bottom of the roster. So you're with one team, then you get cut, picked up by another one. So it was a great experience. I can't complain at all, but it did leave me a little bit jaded at the end. I went from this family setting to an environment where it's more of a business, and it didn't last as long as I wanted it to, so kind of left with a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth.
Yeah, and you knew you wanted to have that final season, and you were able to find that in Paris, of all places.
That's right, an unlikely place to find some closure with the sport, but knew that I had one more season of football left, and I thought I didn't want it to end where it did, so found an opportunity overseas with Flash Lacourneuve, and that led to the best football adventure I ever went on.
It was great because you say that over there it wasn't about fame and money. You really found that love for football again.
That's right, and so I think overseas, no one cares about football in the same way that they do here unless you're a part of that community. So I kind of got to see, what do you have of football when it's removed from the fame, the business, some of the glamour that you have in the United States?
Yeah.
And so what's still there and what keeps people coming then? And I really saw it's the fellowship, it's the brotherhood, it's being a part of a family again that is pursuing a goal together. And so I was so fortunate to finish my career spending time with other people, hearing their stories, and going on this cross-cultural adventure, so to speak.
There are a lot of adventures in the book. I mean, you'll be able to, like, you take people there and they're able to actually feel like what you were going through. Unfortunately, your time there was short, the season cut short because of the pandemic, but it ended up with this book.
That's right. You know, I think everyone's lives were disrupted by COVID-19. So we weren't in a unique situation by any means by having our plans disrupted, but so that added a whole new element of it. But also during quarantine, it was a chance to turn those journals that we were keeping there into a story that helped me process the end of my football career. But also I saw that, hey, I think this is an intriguing story that maybe other people would be interested in reading too.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so it is Gridiron Redemption, the NFL, Paris, and a pandemic. Great to see you again. You're in Tennessee, and you are the assistant athletic director.
Yes, get to serve as assistant athletic director at Lincoln Memorial University. Go Rail Splitters. That's where my wife Bethany is also in the medical school there. Just finished up her second year.
Great. I know you're home to see your family and congratulate your little brother on graduating from high school. So I hope you just have a great weekend. We're so glad that you stopped by to say hi to us.
That's right. Thank you so much for having me.
We should say find your book on Amazon.
That's right,
Yeah.
Amazon.
All right, good. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it.